The battle between Iron Man, Captain Marvel and their allies raged on, each side fighting fiercely for their beliefs. Iron Man was struggling against the overwhelming force of his opponents when Black Panther suddenly grabbed him from behind, urging him to call off the fight. But before he could respond, Captain Marvel struck him hard, punching the back of his helmet and slamming him into the ground. She demanded his surrender, warning that this was his last chance. Iron Man, disoriented, tried to protest. Sensing something strange, he attempted to speak, but Captain Marvel didn't let him finish. Ignoring his words, she continued her relentless assault, telling him to shut up as she kept hitting him. Then, without warning, Ulysses's power activated. His vision surged into their minds, forcing them to witness a possible future event he had foreseen. In an instant they were transported into the vision. Iron Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel and the others found themselves in a new scene, a grim and unsettling future. They rose to their feet and saw something that left them stunned. Captain Marvel, her voice shaking with disbelief, tried to process what was before her. In the vision, Spider-Man stood over the lifeless body of Captain America, blood dripping from his hands as he held on to Steve Rogers' corpse. His hands were soaked in the fallen hero's blood. Ulysses, overwhelmed by the weight of his own vision, wept as the image faded away. The heroes stood in stunned silence, the gravity of what they had seen sinking in, but no one was more affected than Miles himself. Shocked and devastated, he collapsed to his knees, unable to comprehend what he had just witnessed. He could only mutter a broken no as the reality of the vision crushed him. Miss Marvel rushed to his side, desperate to comfort him. She repeated the same denial over and over, insisting that what they saw wasn't real, that it wouldn't happen. But Miles, his voice trembling, removed part of his mask, revealing his tear-streaked face. He then asked with his voice filled with despair, "How do you know?" She placed her hands on his shoulders and assured him, "I just do." Captain Marvel stepped forward. She rested a hand on Marvel's shoulder, silently urging her to step aside. She then looked at Miles. "Kid, I'm sorry, but you're under arrest." Behind her, Miss Marvel broke down in tears, powerless to stop what was happening. Captain Marvel ordered a ceasefire, demanding everyone to stand down. Rocket, still soaring through the air with his weapon at the ready, reminded her that she had also told them to come and mop the floor with their enemies. Before he could escalate things further, the others urged him to stop. Turning to Miles, Captain Marvel addressed him directly. She told him they needed to do the right thing. Before she could explain further, Iron Man interrupted. He questioned what right even meant, and removing his mask, turned his anger toward Captain Marvel. He reminded Carol that he had warned her this exact scenario would unfold. His voice rose as he accused her of turning against a child. She tried to interject, but Tony pressed on. "This kid, in the short time he has been an Avenger, hasn't done anything wrong. Not one thing. He's been on the right side all in with every fiber of his being. And now you're accusing him of something that he has not done and has not shown one sign he could ever do. This isn't Banner. This is no gray area. He's such a good kid. You know what I was when I was his age." Captain Marvel responded, suggesting Iron Man's youth was marked by drunkenness. Iron Man admitted that, but continued his criticism. Captain Marvel clarified that she wasn't intending to arrest Miles, but was asking him to prevent the disaster they all just witnessed. Iron Man, still unsatisfied, asked if she was planning to take Miles into custody. Captain Marvel then compromised, offering that Miles simply surrender instead of being arrested. Iron Man objected, arguing that it was for something Miles hadn't done. Captain Marvel, trying to soften her stance, pleaded with Tony, saying she was trying to protect Miles as well. Meanwhile, Nova, watching the heated exchange, called it all nuts. The other heroes behind him started discussing their own reaction to the strange vision they'd shared. No one had experienced anything like it before. Some questioned Tony's decision to take the risk of letting what they had just witnessed happen. This led to more arguments between Captain Marvel and Iron Man. Iron Man finally relented, saying that if Miles wanted to make his own decision, it was up to him. Captain Marvel agreed with his stance, but Tony was still skeptical of her. Miles, who had silently been listening to everything, was torn, unsure of what to do. Captain Marvel, frustrated with Iron Man's refusal to cooperate, accused him of demonizing her for being proactive. Iron Man responded that she still didn't get it. Captain Marvel, growing more upset, pointed out that there was something seriously wrong with Iron Man. Iron Man simply responded, "I know." As the argument reached its peak, Captain America appeared, calmly placing a hand on their shoulders and asking if he could intervene. Captain America got down on his knees in front of Miles, greeting him with a simple hi, which Miles returned. Captain America then asked why Miles had put his mask up, to which Miles explained he couldn't breathe. Captain America then said, "Put it back. That mask represents something. It represents who you are. You're Spider-Man, and that means something to people. It means a lot." Miles quickly assured him that he would never do what the vision had shown. Captain America reassured Miles by saying, "I know, son. Miles, feeling lost, admitted that he didn't know what to do next. Captain America asked him what he wanted to do, and Miles quietly replied that he just wanted to go home. Captain America encouraged him, "Then do that. We'll figure the rest out later." Before they could proceed, Captain Marvel intervened, declaring that it wasn't Captain America's decision to make. As Miles began putting his mask back on, Captain America stood firm, telling Captain Marvel that Miles had the right to go home if he wished. Captain Marvel argued that they could keep him safe and ensure nothing went wrong, but Captain America interrupted, firmly asserting that Miles hadn't done anything wrong, just as Bruce or Rhodey hadn't. Captain Marvel was left stunned and speechless by his words. Iron Man, seeing the situation unfold, directed Thor to take Miles home. Thor complied, grabbing Miles to carry him away. Captain Marvel shouted, "No," as she tried to stop them, but Captain America blocked her, preventing her from getting any closer. With that, Thor flew off with Miles. Furious, Captain Marvel pushed Captain America aside, expressing her disbelief at his actions. However, before she could say more, she was unexpectedly grabbed from behind by Miss Marvel, who declared that Miles was her friend and hadn't done anything wrong. Captain Marvel, now uncertain, was left unsure of how to proceed. Suddenly, Maria Hill arrived with several SHIELD agents. She declared that everyone who had come to battle on government soil had committed an act of terrorism and were now under arrest. Tony Stark, unfazed, responded with a dismissive, "Yeah, good luck," and added that she could quote him on that. Maria warned Tony that she would not count to 3. His reply was a suggestion that maybe she should. Just then a voice from behind interrupted. It was Black Panther. He declared that if anyone planned to fire, they would have to go through him. Captain Marvel, concerned, addressed him by name, but Black Panther continued, "I have seen too much, Captain Marvel. I can no longer defend any of this. At the beginning I could, but I have grown more and more uncomfortable with my part in this. And long ago I learned that if you are on Captain America's side, you can rest easy knowing you are on the right side. Even after what we have all experienced, if we choose to protect that child Avenger's right to be, then that is what I should have been doing this entire time." Captain Marvel had no words to respond to this. Black Panther continued with a firm statement, "If you attack me, you attack the Kingdom of Wakanda." As the tension grew, a bright light suddenly appeared from behind and Maria Hill reacted in panic. The light came from a portal Doctor Strange was conjuring to help the heroes escape. Captain Marvel shouted in frustration, but it was too late. Rocket launched an attack toward them, but they had already escaped. Captain Marvel turned to Medusa, asking for help to use Lockjaw to follow them, but Medusa simply refused, saying goodbye before teleporting away. Captain Marvel was left standing, unsure of what to do next. Meanwhile, Miles Morales was being carried away by Thor. From above he spotted the explosion caused by Rocket's attack. He asked Thor to put him down, not offering an explanation. Thor, confused, asked where he wanted to go, but Miles only repeated his request. Thor landed on a rooftop and said he would stay to protect him for as long as necessary, but Miles insisted that he was fine and needed to be left alone. He apologized, explaining that he just needed some space. Thor, understanding his distress, left him alone, flying away. With no one around, Miles collapsed to his knees, removing his mask as tears began to fall. He breathed heavily, overwhelmed by emotion. His thoughts drifted back to the haunting vision he had of Captain America dead, blood on his hands. Staring at his own hands, the weight of the moment hit him and he broke down completely, crying uncontrollably on the rooftop, the vast New York City skyline looming in the background. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.